Hi, Michael Theos here from JNW Shopping Mart, inviting you to try out our new online shopping sensation, jnwshopping.com. Our online versions allow you to shop from the convenience of your cell phone. Our online store allows you to shop for all your groceries, frozen products, beauty supplies, pet supplies, kitchen supplies, wines, and so much more. We at JNW Shopping Mart have made shopping easier for you. Visit us at jnwshopping.com.
With over 100
And we're back.
Yeah, we had a lot of interesting conversations today. I think, we're thinking about COVID-19, of course, and the way that it affects all of our lives. So it's great to always get the different perspectives of how everybody's handling it. Of course, it's always a very important conversation when we do check in with the Ministry of Health. So we want to thank Dr. Manzanero, of course, for coming and giving us an update as to how we were doing, how we're managing, and, sort of some of the stuff that we can look forward to, or what we can look moving forward.
Yeah, and I think there was a lot that was discussed today that was just really interesting. My mind is kind of lit up in all the different thoughts, because I think that when we look at responding to what may be a second wave, we have no certainty, but it's always a possibility. I think the fact that Dr. Manzanero spoke about being able to manage what would be typical health issues around this time, and looking at dengue starting to take an uptick. We've seen more mosquitoes. We know that it's starting to rain. We know we've seen times where dengue can really just spread very rapidly. If you're going to look at managing that, and COVID, it's going to be a lot. So, and also the issue of testing.
Yeah.
Their perspective in terms of random testing moving forward. I'm not sure if it's how we're supposed to do it, if there's any standard that's being used anyplace else, but we do know that what's happening right now is kind of just looking at our frontline workers.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, the situation where we are now, we know that things are starting to open up a little bit more, because we have, to a great extent, been successful in managing the case. Our initial wave was, when we look, if we compare ourselves to other countries in the region, it's been relatively small. And of course, we are on day 36 of no new positive cases. So it is encouraging as time moves on, but of course, we always want to keep things in context, and we want to always remind you guys to adhere to the safety measures which are being encouraged by not only the government, but by health bodies, by scientists, by everybody worldwide, in terms of keeping your physical distance, wearing masks, and of course just washing hands, and of course taking care of yourself, you know, because regardless of how this happens, you always want to be in the best position. If you, I mean, to fight any illness, you want to prevent any illness. So, you know, take care of yourself, eat healthily, you know, get your exercise if you can, and, you know.
And try to take care of your mental health as well. It is a very trying time. I always tell people, it's okay to not be okay. This is a lot that we're all taking in. Some days, you know, some days I can say, it's like, when is this going to be over? But we got to be kind, and we got to be patient with ourselves, and realize that this is just a learning curve that we're all on. Check in with your friends if you can, when you have the time. Be sure that all your loved ones are okay. It's not a pressure about doing it every day and every minute, but just make sure that you take the time to do so when you can. But also, I do say, I love the second conversation. That would be so interesting to kind of sit with a bunch of social scientists and just discuss how this pandemic has drastically changed or habits and patterns in such a short period of time. And while, you know, next year we may be in a different position and maybe right back where we were before, it still is very interesting to observe it right now in this moment.
For sure, and I think that one of the big takeaways from that conversation is something that a lot of people have been saying, that, you know, a lot of the adjustments that we're making are going to be the new normal. It's going to be interesting to see over time what will stick and what does sort of, or in what form these sort of things will take. A lot of our behaviors, a lot of how certain institutions are run. It's going to be an ongoing process, of course, as we learn more about COVID, as perhaps, you know, there's treatments or vaccines or whatever that is developed. But we know that because we want to avoid an outbreak of any sort of potential, if, you know, harmful disease to society, that a lot of the measures that we're taking now, especially for vulnerable populations, are going to have to stick. So navigating the change and the way how we conduct, you know, business and all sorts of things is going to be really interesting to watch. And the cultural shift that is going to happen because of, and is already happening because of COVID, is definitely interesting. So I really did like that conversation with Sherry.
What's one thing you think that, or have you given any thought to anything that you would want to stick around until the end of, like, after the pandemic?
Well, you know, I think that what's interesting is that as things are opening back up, there's certain measures that are being put in place in terms of hygiene and stuff which were existing problems. But now that, you know, either because of the shutdown or because, you know, these measures were forced upon it, we really had to take a look on ourselves and reorganize certain stuff, especially I think with, you know, food and food handling and stuff. Things are getting really, I guess we're getting more stringent. So I think that's something of a positive development, which I'd like to stick around. And also, I like the reliance on technology for certain things. I think, for example, a lot of businesses and other things are moving to like paperless, you know, communication and whatever. I think that's a very positive step. It's good for the environment and stuff like that. So that's what I like. What about you?
Definitely online shopping and delivery.
Yeah, actually in Belize, you can get groceries.
that's where I'm true to my generation. I think it was long past time, and
I do agree.
I'm happy to see it growing and improving, and you know, you can even get vegetables.
Yeah.
You can get. So I think, and more so that they're making it easier. People develop apps and websites, and the payment is online. Those things I hope never go back.
Yeah.
So those are my things that I think would be really great to keep after the pandemic.
Yeah, I love. I think that we should always be trying to maximize the use of technology, perhaps, you know, now we're just seeing a real push for it, which I think is really positive, that we have to be innovative and making these changes. So that's really good.
All right, and back to the show for today. We also want to say thank you to Linda for joining us, talking about her experience on the cruise. You know, we've known Linda, I think most people have known Linda for a very long time, and she's just known to be a really positive person, and we still saw that today. But I don't know if every person could endure what they've endured. 2 months at sea with over 2 months at sea with absolute uncertainty, confined spaces. That's tough.
I know. So, you know, we definitely do hope she is able to come home soon. Yeah. And, you know, that, you know, everybody who's experiencing a situation like that, we hope, you know, that they're doing the best that they possibly can. Yeah. So, of course, we give our best to Linda once again, and hope to see you soon. Back at home.
Back at home. All right, but that's all the time we have for today. Remember, if you want to contact us, send us an email at oye@channel5police.com. Drop me a line at marlene_oye@channel5police.com. Find us on Facebook at Open Your Eyes BZ.
And on Instagram at OIE Belize.
And remember to tune in tomorrow morning at 6:30 when you open your eyes.
Start your morning right.
Until then, keep your eyes, your mind,
and your heart open.
We'll see you soon. Enjoy your day, Belize.
Open Your Eyes was brought to you by the Belize Bank. Our country, your bank.